Hey guys, this is Brownie Boy TV here with your Aqua Division Litheo Battling Association Season 4 draft coverage. With me, I've got Sandshrew Bogut.
Hello.
And Green Scrafty.
What's going on?
And to start this off, we're going to start covering the Pori Arcanines, whose coach is Nuclear Android. As you can see his team right here on the screen. I'm going to highlight it for you. His first pick, he took Mega Medicham, then Alakazam, Skarmory, Melodic, Togekiss, Scolipede, Raikou, Gligar, Delphox, and Scrafty. For me, I rated him 9 out of 10, but I'd like to see what you guys rated him.
I gave him an 8. He was a 7 for me, but the Scolipede pick at the end knocked it up to an 8. I gave him another full point, because it's just a great pick
solid.
And pairing with Medicham, even Alakazam. He can just, that passing option is just so scary.
Yeah, definitely. Putting speed on Alakazam is just terrifying, or even Mega Medicham at that.
Yeah.
But what did you think, Rudy?
I gave him about an 8, 8.5. His Togekiss, I feel like he's gonna run that Thunderwave flinch, and then
True.
Scolipede is just a threat with mostly all his folks, like you said, Medicham, Alakazam, even Togekiss.
Yeah.
And also Raikou.
The thing that I lowered his score down to a 9, like I was considering giving him a 10 because he did draft a really good team. But Skarmory, Melodic, and Togekiss are all weak to Electric.
Yep.
Now he's got good coverage with Raikou and Gligar since Raikou's resistant and then Gligar's immune. But altogether, his team is pretty weak to Electric.
Mm-hmm.
Like they take it neutrally except for those two, and then he's got 3 with weaknesses, and they're all 3 as well. So if you can bring an Electric move, he's going to be in trouble.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
Outside of his walls, he doesn't have a ton of bulk, so he, like you said, he wouldn't be able to take him too well. And even with Gligar, things that'll hit him, any kind of electric type, they almost always got the HP Ice, which Gligar obviously doesn't want to take. So it's not the best pairing, even though it is immune to electric. It's not the best coverage.
It's
that's a good point.
Either.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be able to
That's true.
those things.
But he probably, talking about what he might bring, I don't know if he'd have all 3 of the electric weaknesses at once, but he doesn't have a lot of switch-ins outside of them.
Yeah.
Exactly, because like his Skarmory is his physical wall. Melodic and Togekiss are generally special walls, but they could be physical walls. But that leaves him only with Gligar really as coverage for electric moves.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
With Ice, he has decent coverage for Gligar.
Yeah, he does.
That's true.
Sure.
Melodic and the Delphox.
Even Skarmory a
True.
little bit.
Yeah, I mean Delphox can also be a special wall. It's got decent special defense.
Yeah.
I think
And it's got Magician, so I can just mess around with that. That'll be interesting. But I don't know. In Nuclear's hands, I think this team's gonna be pretty solid. But I think so. I said 9, Bogut said 8, and Rudy said 8.5. So he's gonna have an 8.5 from us.
Yep.
And then
Drafting,
we're gonna rank
our opinions are based off the team independently. We didn't do our ratings off like the person playing the team because like obviously Nuclear's gonna with that Mega Medicham, he's so dangerous that's always gonna be a problem.
Oh, yep.
We have to try to grade it independently of the actual person.
Exactly. But after all of this, we're going to take each of our ranks for the teams, and then we're going to try to rank them into a list. So it'll be interesting to see. And I'll have the ranks for the draft coverage posted on the Twitter account afterward. So the next one we're going to cover is the Foosha Village Volcarona, whose coach is Chris, Son of Dragon. His team was Greninja with X and Y movesets only, Volcarona, Rotom Wash, Florges, Porygon 2, Golbat, Spiritomb, Quagsire, Zygarde, and Mega Diancie. First look at this team, Chris, he loves his Greninja, so I wasn't very surprised to see him take that, and he's really good with Volcarona, so also not surprising at all. And it was a really good pickup for him to get Rotom Wash there, because Rotom, just fantastic Pokemon. I couldn't believe that it dropped up to the round. So altogether, I gave Chris an 8 out of 10. So what'd you guys think?
I gave Chris a 7 out of 10. I thought his first 5 picks were well on track to being like a perfect draft. You got really, really good coverage, even though they're all special attackers, which was what I took points off, that he doesn't have a lot of physical hits. His first 5 were ridiculous, and then even Golbat, but he went a little bit too heavy with drafting the defense. His first 2 picks are really his only straight offensive guys. I guess you can count Mega Diancie too. Mega Diancie was a great last pick to get it as a
Agreed.
Mega.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I didn't like that he took Zygarde and Mega Diancie back to back, but he still drafted a pretty good team.
Yeah, I gave him about a 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, Rotom's third pick was great.
Yeah, like Bogus said, he started off good, and then he just went straight bulk. Not many attackers.
Yeah, I agree with the Zygarde pick not being the strongest. If he knew he was going for Mega Diancie next, he probably could have gone another way.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't have a ton of options after that.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think that you should draft another legendary if you're going to draft a Mega Legend, since you're only allowed to bring one legend to a battle.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
That's fair.
So
But last
I don't
season
know.
he showed what he can do with the Greninja Volcarona pairing. So it's smart of him to get him again. It's something he's familiar with. So that's going to be pretty dangerous for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
They cover each other well, too.
Yeah.
So for him, we got down. I had 7.5. You both had 7, so that's 7.25 for Chris. And then next one we're going to cover is the Los Angeles Nidokings, or JJG Hernandez. You can hear Rudy sigh over there because he's not too happy that he's going to have to face his team soon. But JJ started out with Talonflame, Latias, Politoed, Mega Swampert, Klefki, Empoleon, Tangrowth, Gallade, Electros, and Kingdra. So right away you can see that it's just a powerful rain team, and it's going to be pretty tough teams to take it apart. That's why just looking at his team, the power that he's able to get, I gave him a 10 out of 10 just because I think this is going to be a fantastic team. And I don't see many teams being able to break it apart or beat him for that matter. But I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on it.
You got it, Rudy.
All right. I gave him an 8 because there's so many other pokes he could have drafted to abuse the rain. For example, Noivern abused the hurricane. Tornadus T to abuse the hurricane. Thundurus abused the thunder.
Well, now you're just giving him ideas of guys who weren't drafted. So
yeah, I mean, it's all right.
Appreciate it, dude.
But
that's true. He could run Thunder on Electros though, and Electros hits so hard.
Yep, it's got that bulk too.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to take out in one shot. Yeah, I gave him a 9. He is the highest. He's tied for the highest rating in Aqua out of mine. He showed last season what he did with a sand team, so he understands how to draft well. It's like his synergy is phenomenal. He's everything. Even though it's a rain team, so you got a few common weaknesses, he covers them really, really well.
Yeah.
The Talonflame pick for round 1 almost doesn't fit because with the rain team, but it's such a threat. You always got to worry about it. Those Brave Birds will still hit just as hard in the rain. So that was a good pick to cover his guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I gave him an 8 because the fire, any steel type can, for example, a Magnezone can take it can take a Flare Blitz in the rain, and it 4 times resist Brave Bird. So if the rain is up, it's not really going to do too much.
That's true. But if you just think about it as this, he drafted Rain. Rain's almost always water Pokemon. Biggest thing to counter that's going to be Grass. I mean, most of them do get Ice Beam, but it's not going to be Stab. So if you get a bulky Pokemon like a Mega Venusaur, for example, it's going to be tough to take it down unless you have that Talonflame. So I think it was a pretty good pick for him.
Yeah, Latias too was a great pick to cover his guys.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely,
true. Latias has got that bulk. It's going to be interesting to see.
Healing Wish support for something like Swampert, or even Politoed if he wants to keep the rain going.
And he's got Defog on Latias for a Talonflame too.
Yep, or Empoleon.
And he's got Defog on Empoleon.
He's got a lot of versatility.
Yeah, Klefki too with the Prankster Rain Dance in case Politoed goes down.
Yeah, I think he whiffed on a couple picks. Not whiffed, but something like you said, something that can do Hurricane. Even, I guess Dragonite wouldn't have worked, but Ludicolo was something that he could have picked up and was on the board for a while. And that would have been Gallade round 8 doesn't make a ton of sense, and if he had taken something like Ludicolo, it would have been perfect for him.
Absolutely.
True. Yeah, I agree. But so for him, I had a 10. Bogey, you had a 9. Rudy, an 8. So altogether, JJ is going to get a 9 from us. So then on to our next one. It's going to be Surrey Litleo, or Matt. He's Tipster Jones on Twitter, and his draft was Mega Mawile, Latios, Blissey, Rotom Heat, Tentacruel, Infernape, Dusclops, Crawdaunt, Smeargle, and Swellow. Right away, 2 power picks right back to back with Mega Mawile and Latios. It's just dangerous pairing, and then he's got his Blissey. He almost always drafts Blissey or Chansey, and he just wreaks havoc with him because teams can't break them down. And he's always able to get his Infernape too. And I know Matt's gonna just wreck lives with this team, but I still don't think he drafted as strong as he could have. That's why I gave him a 8 for this one. But what's your guys' opinion on it?
I gave him an 8 as well. I was with you. I think his first few picks were great. He took the Blissey round 3, which might have been a little early, but he took it because he didn't get Chansey. He said something about yelling obscenities in a crowded night establishment because he realized he didn't get Chansey at the time, at 3 in the morning in South Africa. But he got Blissey, which is kind of the same. It was good. I'm not a big Rotom Heat fan, so I didn't love that, but he's got good versatility with it. The Mega Mawile Latios first 2 picks are just terrifying. They cover each other really well. They're both really, really strong. Matt uses Latios better than just about anybody.
Yeah, same thing with his Infernape. He always runs that thing so well. He can run rocks. I've seen him run Ban, Scarf. He just tears teams apart with that Infernape.
Great later pick too. Round 6, still having it there was nuts.
Oh yeah, that's phenomenal.
I was really surprised
for him.
he could get it.
Yeah, I gave him about an 8, also because at first glance I see a big ground weakness with Mega Mawile, Tentacruel, and Infernape, but he covered it pretty well with Latios and the Swellow. and the and the Rotom Heat. So I mean, drafted pretty well, but like you said, definitely could have drafted better.
Doesn't have a ton of physical defense. I guess you can run. You can make Rotom Heat physically defensive, but a fire physical defensive guy isn't always the best. Dusclops can be physical, but it's not as effective. And then obviously you get knocked off. Being reliant on the knockoff on things that need a Violet isn't always the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, a physically defensive Dusclops can eat up a knockoff, and then knockoff isn't going to do too much after that. So
it's true.
Not too bad.
Yeah, and it's got that Will-O-Wisp support, so it'll be interesting to see how Matt uses it. I know he's drafted Dusclops before, and he's done pretty well with it.
Yeah.
And Dusclops has also got Trick Room, and his team, I mean, it's not slow, but if you have a Crawdaunt, a Mega Mawile, and even, I'm going to say, if you ran an offensive Rotom Heat, you could use Trick Room, like, well.
Absolutely.
So,
that
it'll be interesting to see.
Smeargle round 9 was a solid pick for him. It was nice.
He always drafts Smeargle.
Yeah, I've never been so thankful that Confused Rain Swagger abandoned my life than when I saw Matt take that Smeargle. I'm pretty worried about what he'd be able to do with it.
Yeah.
Pretty classic, but I remember last season he didn't draft a Hazard Clear, like Rapid Spin or Defogger at all, and he brought a Rapid Spin Smeargle against me. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
But
he might have to rely on that again if he'll bring Tentacruel, but that's a lot of specially defensive walls.
Yeah.
That's true. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Matt does. I'm sure that he'll be able to make this team work for him and put together a solid record. But next team we're going to cover is Seattle Sandshrews, and coach is Sandshrew Bogut, who's here with us now. And since he's here and he's commentating on it, he's not going to actually give his full opinion or rate his team since it's his team, and it's just going to be me and Rudy for this one.
I tried to, but I couldn't go high enough on the rating of the team.
He tried putting out a 20 out of 10. That's when I realized it was a bad idea. But his first pick was Mega Slowbro, then Chansey, Garchomp, Staraptor, Victini, Mienshao, Roserade, Avalugg, Galvantula, and Escavalier.
Disgusting.
Right away, you can see that this team is just insanely bulky. It has got it's got hazard support to help his bulk. So not only is his slow Pokemon going to eat their hits, they're going to outspeed you because of the sticky web. So that's just completely dangerous. And then on top of that, he does actually have a speed threat with his Mienshao and his Galvantula. So it'll be interesting to see how teams try to take this down because you have the Mega Slowbro combo with Chansey, so you can't hit Chansey with a close combat if you're going to be locked into it because you know he'll just go out to Slowbro and then just set up all over you. So it'll be tough for teams to break down this core, but I'd like to hear your opinion on this one, Rudy.
I don't know. So I give him solid 8. This team is just extremely threatening. But like the Mega Slowbro Chansey, not a big fan of it at all. I'm not gonna lie.
The world joins you in that.
Oh my goodness! And then I don't know how Garchomp fell to round 3.
I have no idea either. Fell to round 3 in this, and then it went first overall in Magma.
Yeah, and then I don't know how Victini went 5th. Victini's just just a solid threat.
It's so dangerous.
Mienshao is just ridiculous.
Because Mienshao's got that really good special move pool.
Yep.
People run a lot of hidden powers on it, so
hidden power, Grass Knot, all
tough.
that. Roserade's a good special wall.
Season, so it was really nice to get it back.
Yeah.
Roserade's a good special wall, but you can actually use him attacking too.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty solid because when I drafted him, he gets Technician, so you get Technician boosted hidden power.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Solid. And I mean, Avalugg is also a good pick too. I was actually thinking about drafting it, but I thought it wasn't going to go in round 8. I thought I could get it in the 10th round. I was very wrong about that.
Yeah, my general thoughts were I figured if I got Slowbro and Chansey, my defense would basically be set, and then I could get away with kind of just going with a few wall breakers. A little bit of overlap with that with Staraptor and Victini. They can kind of do that same role. Yeah. But they fit pretty well, and I couldn't believe Garchomp fell to 3. I was so happy.
Yeah.
And I mean, Avalugg is a good attacker too.
Yeah, he
hits really hard.
Versatile for a while, but that ice type isn't the best, so you have to cover.
Yeah, but I mean, it can live a Flare Blitz from Banded Talonflame very easily.
That's insane.
It does about 45%.
Jesus, that's really good to know.
And then it OHKOs with Avalanche, just letting you know.
That's
great. Yeah, I have 3 sets of Avaluggs that I just bred, but I haven't really calced them so much.
Yeah, I've used it before in the NU tournament.
Right.
Really
dangerous.
Really good.
Yeah, so I'm okay with how it turned out.
Yeah.
I gave Bogut an 8. Rudy gave Bogut an 8, so he's going to get an 8 from us. And then the next team we're going to cover is Under the Radar, or Baltimore Braviarys. His team is Tyranitar, Slowbro, Amoonguss, Mega Scizor, Jolteon, Hydreigon, Diggersby, Blastoise, Metagross, and Blaziken. The Blaziken's allowed because we allow Blaziken with Blaze ability in the league. Speed Boost is still banned, and Mega Blaziken's still banned. Altogether, Kelly drafted pretty well, but I definitely thought that he could have picked a team, or picked a Mega that would have helped his team better. I thought that he just kind of forced the Mega Scizor since it was there. He wasn't really looking for synergy. He was more so looking for power. So I think that he could end up changing Megas by the end of the season, whether he trades for one or if he just ends up just releasing his Mega Scizor and picking up a new one. It'll be interesting to see. But altogether, I gave him a 6 out of 10. I understand why he drafted the Slowbro Mungus core to have that regenerator, but I just don't think that it works that great in this league because it's not an easily countered core, but you can work around it, especially if you know that that's what he's going to bring, because other than that, he didn't really draft that much of a core. He has Tyranitar, but if you hit him with a physical fighting at all, he's done. It's just ridiculous. You can hit him with Mach Punch from anybody and it's gone. But, what's your opinion on this?
It could also set up Dragon Dances and Sweep.
It can.
True.
I thought the first 3 picks were like pretty, like you said, with Slowbro and Amoonguss, they're tough to use in this league as a defensive core because you know what he's bringing and you know how to counter it. So once you plan for it, it's not too bad. And same with Tyranitar. Like Tyranitar, you can use him he's really versatile with the different roles he can play, but you can plan on how to kill it. Fighting move will still kill it no matter what.
True. The thing with Slowbro and Amoonguss, the reason that I'm not a huge fan of them, they're great walls, but they have so many weaknesses. Like, they can take the hits that you want them to take, like physical or special, but if you hit him with a super effective physical hit for Slowbro, he's not going to like it at all. Like, if you hit him with a Scizor with a U-turn, it's not going to end well with that Slowbro.
Absolutely. So. Even with the regenerator, you don't get a ton of it back. Banded U-turn from a Scizor will do like 75% to a fully defensive Slowbro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think Bug Bite from Mega Scizor does a decent amount too.
Yeah, Brexit. Asked my team when I faced Tyler 2 seasons ago how well Slowbro can stand up to Mega Scizor.
That was amazing.
That was the worst loss of my life. So, he outside his first 3 picks, he didn't really draft a lot of synergy. He's got a lot of common weaknesses. Doesn't really have a lot of utility outside of kind of Blastoise. Just stuff doesn't really fit so well. So I gave him a 6 too. I wasn't a huge fan of his draft, and it was a soft 6.
Yeah. Same with me. The bug weakness is very big there.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing to really take it other than Scizor.
Tyranitar gets smacked. Slowbro does not appreciate a special. Amoonguss, it's neutral.
Not taking a physical bug move though from a strong.
Yeah, no. He's not going to enjoy a U-turn, and then Hydreigon's definitely not taking one.
And Metagross is neutral as well.
Yeah,
and the fighting weakness is big there too. But he has the Slowbro and Amoonguss to,
counteract that. Yeah. That's true. The core with his first 3 picks is pretty solid, but if he has to bring that same core to every single battle, that's going to get overly predictable, and you're going to be able to work around that fairly easily. Yeah. So,
all right.
I will say though that I really like that round 7 Diggersby pick. Diggersby with his new move tutor moves is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So good this gen.
I think
Scarf or Band or Life Orb.
I think his team has been talked enough by probably himself. So you guys want to move on to Shadow?
Yeah, we can move on to Shadow. Well, last thing about Kelly is that I also gave him a 6, so we're going to give him a 6 overall, I think.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Sounds good.
So the next team we're going to talk about is Tokyo Raichus. His coach is Shadow Chew. His team is Mega Altaria, Ferrothorn, Weavile, Cofagrigus, Jirachi, Gastrodon, Snorlax, Rhyperior, Raichu, and Manaphy. He's drafted a great team. I was surprised to see Mega Altaria go so early. Like, I know it's a great Pokemon. You can use it physically offensive, especially offensive, physically defensive, or especially defensive. Gets that natural cure before you Mega Evolve, and then when you Mega Evolve, you get the Pixelate Hyper Voices. So it is a great Pokemon. For me, it just doesn't hit hard enough. You can't break down a wall if it's good at taking hits on that side. Like with a Chansey, there's no way an Altaria can take down a Chansey, even if you're fully offensive. And it's annoying. So,
but if he's a Dragon Dance, he can take on Mega Slowbro pretty well.
True.
Yeah, very well.
I'm assuming that Hyper Voices from Mega Altaria hits Slowbro pretty hard too.
Yeah, it destroys it. It does well over 50.
Yeah. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah, Mega Altaria. I think I used it in a recent league I just did, and it did very well actually. I was very surprised.
Yeah, I don't know if it was worth a first round pick, but I've been swept since ORS came out more by Mega Altaria than anything else by far. It's not even close. Like, it tends to always kind of surprise me a little bit, but when you can plan for it, that's a little different. But
exactly.
The way Shadow runs it, he runs Body Slam on it, so it gets that chance to paralyze, and it gets the
chance to paralyze, and you Pixelate Boost.
Yeah, so
And
it's
when
up
you're
to
paired with a Ferrothorn, for Shadow, let me pull 8. He gave me an 8 out of 10, which is pretty solid. His Mega Altaria and Ferrothorn combo is pretty ferocious, though. I mean, they perfectly cover each other.
Jirachi too.
Yeah. Josh is a great pick. His team is overall pretty good. I just feel like he really wasted that last pick because I don't see how Manaphy is going to be overly useful for him.
Oh, I think he only drafted it for JJ's team. Because
that would make sense.
Rest hydration is
yeah.
Manaphy is great, but
OP.
It doesn't really match up that well because it's not very versatile. Like you got hydration, but then it's usually just Tail Glow and 3 attacks.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get up with Tail Glow and Talonflame's out the way, he sweeps everything.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm
assuming Manaphy would be able to survive Brave Bird anyway.
Yeah, I gave him an 8.
I thought he had the strongest. I thought him and JJ had the 2 strongest drafts in Aqua. Just like looking at his defensive synergy is ridiculous with Altaria's bulky, Ferrothorn, Confagrigus, and even like Gastrodon together are so good.
Yeah.
And he is good. He has glass cannons. He has a bunch of them. He's got Weevil, Raichu, and even Manaphy's not too bulky, but he surrounds them with so much bulk and things that can cover them so well. I thought it was really well constructed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Pretty solid team. So I gave him an 8. Rudy gave him an 8. You gave him a 9, Bogut?
Yep.
Okay, so it's 8.3 for Shadow. And then the next team we're going to talk about is the Chattanooga Chesnaughts, which is Rudy's team. His team's Azumarill, Chestnut, Bisharp, Cloyster, Magnezone, Jellicent, Megalodios, Exploud, Ludicolo, and Ninetales. Right away, the thing that sticks out to me about Rudy's team is that he only drafted 2 dedicated walls. And that's just something that I personally wouldn't do in a league like this because it's easy to work around those 2 dedicated walls because his walls are Chestnut and Jellicent. Like, from what I can see, unless he's going to, like, you can run an Assault Vest Azumarill, but it's not going to have the bulk that a typical wall is going to have. So that's the mean weak point in his team, in my opinion. But altogether, his draft was pretty good. But what's your opinion on it, Bogut?
I gave Rudy an 8. I'm a little bit higher on him. I thought he's going to have the issue this season that you'd had last season, where it's you're not going to give other teams good opportunities to switch in. You're going to hit everything hard. But on the flip side, you're going to have that same problem. With the Chestnut Jellicent core, it's a strong core, but if people can plan for it, they might be able to do a little something to it. But that offensive power, Azumarill, Bisharp, and Cloyster in the first 4 rounds were really strong. Bisharp is my, I feel like I probably love each other. It's such a strong pick, and it's so MVP a couple years ago, or season year. I like the offense, but yeah, he's got a little bit of a defensive problem with only 2 straight walls. Like you said, things can be bulky, like Azumarill or the Colo or Megalodios are decently bulky.
Yeah,
Megalodios is a great pick late on, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to try to get him and an offensive one.
Yeah.
I thought the Ninetales pick at the end was interesting because you can use it pretty situationally, so it's you can use it as a nice little surprise factor. I really liked 7th and 8th picks in a row back to back. Latios and Explode were both really good. I think can really try to all Explode specs.
That's true.
That was a good pick. So
he's bulky enough to take a hit.
Just that great to ignore.
Yeah, I recently fell in love with Explode. It can take a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Greninja with Life Orb Modest only does 75%.
Wow.
And then it goes with Boom Burst.
I use max HP, max special attack on mine.
Yeah, that's what I run. Thinking about a few other sets for a few other people, but
yeah, not mutual common weaknesses with your guys, so that was pretty good. Just not a ton. Really the conclusion from it.
It's the only team that I think you have to run offense at some point if you're in the wall. Your walls will be so competitive and predictable that people are going to just be playing for it. You're going to have to at one point either pick up another wall or run for offense. So all the it's going to be Ryan York Gengars. His team's good stuff makes it line Don Fan, Ryan drafted There's no other way for me to really put it. You usually see it in bulls like Slime and Lapras. So like those didn't surprise me, and like they're pretty solid picks. This Cresselia, I wasn't surprised being taken first. You know, he's used Cresselia lately. Yeah. It's a phenomenal thing. It gets switch and it's got the levitate, so it's Pokemon. I think his team pretty decent. Thought he drafted better. He just needs to get more geared toward that. But
yeah, I mean, technician charge beam is a problem.
But if you hit it with if you hit it, I don't know. I rated it.
But look, I thought his first two picks 5 or 6 rounds later. I can't remember ever being drafted in the LBA at all. He stabilized a solid mega. If you start setting up those calm mines with magic bounce, he's real. But didn't take a second round. I don't think anybody
could have gotten in the 10th. Honestly.
Yeah. I think they do.
Breloom
could have got before that though, especially with Muncie Muks down there. We'll get to that later.
About that team.
You couldn't have had a Ryan or a Heat.
My franchise would have packed up and moved to PL. We would have relocated.
That's where we all take a moment. Legendary.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But
the one thing I like about Ryan's team, Loyalist,
it's a great pick,
especially versus JJ. Because a Scarf Loyalist can outspeed a Mega Swampert in the ring.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I know that.
Didn't know that at all.
Yeah, so.
Great for that team.
Oh,
he comes in.
Too. He'll always run that Scarf set with it, but that's always something you got to keep in the back of your mind. I don't want stuff because I'm sure do.
Exactly. You come in for your Kingdra and for JJ's team, that's trouble.
That's not what you want.
Yeah.
And drafted pretty typical for him, which I mean it's not bad, and he's done dealing well with it in the past. So interesting to see if he can do better.
I thought his 3rd and 4th picks back to back with Breloom and Arcanines that late for them to go, and I thought those were two really really strong picks.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Helps the draft a bit.
Yeah,
agreed.
I mean, I wish he didn't pick it that because I was right after him. And I was gonna pick Arcanines.
Yeah.
Arcanine is a great pick. A huge move, intimidate coverage, or going to flash fire, or justified if you're feeling bold.
He doesn't have the best synergy with a lot of his guys, though. He's a pretty big ice weakness. He's got a decent ghost weakness. So like he's got a couple
you can definitely see that.
Big common weaknesses with that, but I think he'll make it work. He usually does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really comfortable with these pokes, so.
Yeah, that helps.
All right, so I gave him a 5.5. Bo gave him a 5. What'd you give him, Rudy?
I gave him a 5.
5. All right, so that's a 5 point. Oh, math's failing me at the moment.
Mid 5s.
Yeah, we'll call it mid 5s.
We'll go 5.2.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, so the next team we're gonna cover is Corey or Axew Milan. His team's Conkeldurr, Scizor, Crobat, Landorus Eye, Vaporeon, Chandelure, Miltank, Mega Manectric, Dragalge, and Torkoal.
Fuck. I play that round 1.
All together, I think Corey drafted a really good team. It's really bulky, and it can dish out powerful hits. You've got Conkeldurr and Scizor back to back, and those two are possibly the 2 most dangerous physical Pokemon, like in my opinion, in the game outside of Megas and Talonflame. They both just hit so hard, and you got Azumarill too, who also falls in that category, but they're just phenomenal Pokemon. You can't burn a Conkeldurr to break it down. You can just Drain Punch and just completely decimate teams. You have Scizor who can run Bandit Set. You can run Utility with Defog. You can run Scarf U-Turn. You can do so many things with that. Crobat for speed. Landorus Eye, who just great. I think that's one of his best picks, arguably, just because he took it late and it hit so hard with Sheer Force Life Orb. Yeah,
you set up one.
Hit so hard.
It's over.
Yeah.
You don't even really need that. You can run Rock Polish Set too. Just phenomenal Pokemon. But altogether, I think Corey drafted really, really well. I gave him a 9 out of 10.
Rudy?
Yeah, I gave him a 9.
I gave him
about a
an
9.
8. Yeah,
Nate?
my just two concerns were that he doesn't have a huge amount of defense. He's got Vaporeon and Miltank, which is a solid core, but outside of that, he's got bulky stuff for sure. Conkeldurr, Scizor, Crobat are all bulky.
Don't
But,
sleep on Dragalge, though.
That's
Dragalge
true.
is a very good special
Yeah,
ball.
it is, but if you can plan for Dragalge, you can deal with it. And the problem, it's not the most versatile
true.
guy there is, so there's not a lot of surprises there. And then, unless he wants to use the Fog on Crobat or Scizor, he doesn't have a spinner outside of Torkoal. But he does have 3 ways to get rid of hazards. He's just kind of sacrificing a better set to get that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have like a dedicated spinner or anything like that. But I thought his
think
offense
that's true.
was really, really, really scary. Manectric in the 7th round, what did he get it? 8th round was a great pick.
Yeah. I think he's going to have the most trouble against JJ.
Fair.
Yeah, he could struggle.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, he has Scizor, but
Yeah, but I mean, Scizor is resisted by all water types. Klefki, Empoleon, quad resisted. Kingdra, even Electros.
that's fair. But his offense, the way he drafted, is one of
his
the
offense is
strongest in the
powerful.
division. Because like the whole Aqua draft was like
That
kind of defined by how bulky people drafted. And Corey kind of went the other way and took mostly offense. And I think it's really going to work for him with some of the combinations he has.
Yeah, I agree.
And then with the thing that he could do against JJ is that Vaporeon's got water absorb, so he can't really safely go for the water move. And then you have Chandelure with good coverage because he could run Energy Ball. And then if he wanted to, he could put Thunder on Mega Manectric if he was really playing against the rain. So he could, I could see how he could work his team around, but I agree with you. He could struggle potentially against JJ because because his Conkeldurr and his Scizor don't want to take on Talonflame even in the rain. So
yeah, I think he probably had the 3rd best draft in the whole division. I think he did really, really well with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Just below Shadow and JJ.
Yeah, I had him also down as my 3rd best, but so altogether between the 3 of us, we gave him an 8.6. So pretty good draft for Corey. The next team that we're going to look at is Geo, or the Tampa Bay Thundurus. His team is Clefable, Mega Gyarados, Excadrill, Gengar, Gothitelle, Goodra, Entei, Weezing, Salamence, and Seismitoad. Altogether, I think he drafted a really good team. It's unfortunate for him that he wasn't able to get the Excadrill, Hippowdon, or Excadrill Tyranitar combo.
Thank you, Jesus Christ.
But his team is still all together really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to use that Gothitelle and try to use Shadow Tag, because I have seen people pull it off and use it really, really well, but I've also seen people fail with it, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to pull that off successfully. I think his team, that Salamence pick round 9, great pick. Yeah, and then Mega Gyarados, if you run it correctly, it can be a phenomenal Pokemon. I personally did not run it correctly last season, and I did not do well with it, but you can if you use it well, you can definitely tear teams apart. But especially with that crunch now.
That's so
what's your guys' opinion on it?
Yeah, I think he my first note for him is Clefable Boo, because
boo,
it's the devil, but what he surrounded it with is really good coverage for it. Anything that can hit Clefable super effectively, he has 2 or 3 resist to it. So that's kind of scary. And like you said, Mega Gyarados has been, when it's good, it can push the top of the MVP race. So that's something to look out for.
Oh, absolutely. When Vertile had Mega Gyarados on his roster last season, he was just picking teams apart with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, and he doesn't have he has that same problem that some people have, where he doesn't have a ton of defense. He doesn't pick up a true wall until he goes Goodra around 6, which is a solid round to get it in.
But
Clefable is essentially a true wall just because of how that thing takes
I think it is a wall, and that was a good late pick for him to get, but he didn't really. That allowed him to get good offensive guys with his first 5 picks.
Yeah, but
that's true. I mean, hypothetically, he could run a Clefable Seismitoad pairing. I'm not sure how well Seismitoad is going to be able to take those hits, but Seismitoad resists poison and steel, and if you're not hitting Clefable with one of those, then you're probably not taking it out.
I mean, Goodra and Weezing aren't the best. But
Goodra's pretty solid though.
With Weezing, not the best.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Entei was a solid pick late.
Absolutely.
It's not it's not the best, obviously, but nothing wants to take a choice banded, Flare Blitz, or Sacred Fire, or anything like that. Yeah.
Or E-Speed.
Yeah, it's definitely solid, so that's something to watch out for. He doesn't. Does he have a spinner? Oh, he's got Excadrill.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. He's got the best spinner in the game.
That's true. His team's pretty solid, and he's got the Clefable for Magikarp. So I mean, his team isn't overly weak to rocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless, he's got Salamence, Entei, and and Gyarados before he Mega Evolves, and those are the only 3 that
I
are
really
weak
like
to
the
rocks.
Gyarados, Excadrill, Clefable pairing in general with the first 3 picks. Like that's just really strong synergy. And then if you misplay once around that Mega Gyarados, you're done and it's over.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think altogether he might have drafted. I'm not going to say he drafted the best, but he possibly could have taken the best Pokemon for each round. Now I'm not sure that they work together synergy wise the best, but like round 9 Salamence. If you look down round 9, I think that's the best Pokemon on the list.
I think he's a sleeper.
He drafted really well.
Yeah, but absolutely, it's got to be the strongest late. Sharpedo, though, maybe.
He's gonna be a sleeper.
Yeah, true.
I think he had the best rookie draft out of anybody in Aqua. I think that was the strongest Aqua rookie.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. But so I gave him an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave him an 8 as well.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
All right, awesome. So 8's around. All right, the next team we're gonna look at is the Quebec City Beartiques, and their coach is Tid Vicious, and his team is Mega Charizard X, Sylveon, Mew, Thunderous Eye, Fortress, Alomomola, Lucario, Drapion, Cradily, and Kecleon. I think he drafted a really good team. It was good. I like to see Mew on any team, so I'm gonna be slightly partial to that. But Thunderous Eye is always a good pick. I'm not sure how I feel about taking a legendary back to back, but that's a good, those are 2 good legendaries to take, because Mew, you always have that Starbreaker option, and with Thunderous Eye, people have to definitely fear that V-Wave. You don't want to take that. And then you got a decent spinner with the Fortress. You got to watch out for those Hidden Power Fires, since almost everybody's going to be bringing it against you, but Fortress is still pretty solid.
All 6 of my guys will have it. Like, Chansey's going to be rocking that Hidden Power Fire. I don't care that it gets Flamethrower.
No. But altogether, I think his team is pretty solid. I gave him a 7 out of 10. I thought that he could have done better. I didn't really like the Alomomola pick in round 6. Lucario is pretty decent, and then Cradily and Kecleon are pretty good. I really like his Kecleon pick at the end. I wasn't sure that somebody was going to end up taking Kecleon at all, but it is good to see him drafted just because he has a humongous move pool, and then you have Protein on top of that. So I think he drafted pretty well.
Yeah, surprised he didn't.
Yeah.
I gave him a 6. I didn't love that. Like, 2 of his 3 best guys are both legends he took back to back. So that really hurts you that you kind of burn a pick on something you can't use all the time. So that kind of took a while. But the Charizard X Sylveon start was really strong. Charizard X, I didn't use it well last season, but if you use it well, it's really, really strong. But I didn't love his. I get absolutely. Fortress and Alomomola color each other really well, but that's too easy to wall break because you have a grass or electric type with HP Fire, and then you just shattered his walls. And I know he has Sylveon too to help back that up, but it's tough to kind of use those together. So I felt like some of it, and some of his late picks I didn't like. Cradily, it's not really great when you can plan for it. It's annoying. You can stockpile, you can use it as a strong wall, but it has a lot of weaknesses. It doesn't have a very strong defensive type.
That's true.
I don't like Kecleon. I know he's got the wide move pool, but he doesn't hit nearly hard enough, I feel like, for what he needs to do. And I didn't think Drapion was a great pick either. So I just thought the end of his draft was a little bit weak, but he can. The front end of his draft was really good, and then he kind of tapered off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I gave him a 7 because looking at his team, Earthquake wrecks it. The only thing he has to resist it is Thundurus, and everything else gets wrecked by it.
Yeah, his team does not like Earthquakes. That's true. That's a good point.
Banded or Scarfed Mamoswine will run train on his team.
Yeah, that's true. His team's altogether pretty solid, but I agree there are some weaknesses that he should probably try to trade or make a couple drops.
Yeah, I thought it was solid, but just look at the drafts above him and even some of them below him, and a lot of his guys are just outclassed, and I think that's just death for you in this league if you have too many holes in too many areas.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But so next one we're going to move on to is Mr. Powers of the Cucamonga Quakes. His team is Venusaur, Mandibuzz, Mega Charizard Y, Cobalion, Gardevoir, Suicune, Nidoking, Hitmontop, Meowstic Male, and Rotom. His first pick, it shows inexperience in drafting, just because Venusaur usually goes in later rounds. There's nothing that he could really do about that. But after that, I'd say that Mandibuzz, Mega Charizard Y, and Cobalion, those are 3 decent picks. Cobalion's a pretty good Pokemon. I wouldn't have drafted Cobalion and Suicune if I'm very I always only take 1 legendary just because I don't want to have to build my team around the 2 legendary rule, or the 1 legendary per battle rule, I should say. But altogether, I think his team is pretty solid. That Nidoking pick at the end and Hitmontop are great picks. interested to see how he's going to try to use Rotom. I've never seen it used competitively outside of just like random like NU battles or RU battles. So that'll be interesting to see.
Scarf set is deadly.
And the trick set is nice, but what did you give him?
For me, I gave him a 5.
I gave him a 5, but I may or may not have knocked off a half point because I didn't really like the team name. Team name really weighs heavily for me. No, I didn't really do that, I swear. But the Venusaur pick, like you said, like that's obviously not something you would like. When you look what went around it, Dragonite went 2 picks later. Mega Venusaur, I guess you won't why, but then I would argue it wasn't as good as things that won the first 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah, because I mean last season I drafted it in the 7th round, I think.
Yeah, you took it late, and like it's a good. Obviously, it's a good if you do a spec set with Zard Y, but that's something you can take later on, and you can spend one of your early picks on something much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was more of an inexperienced thing than anything. The only thing that I would have really changed if I was him for this team is that instead of drafting Cobalion or Suicune, like he can keep whichever one of those 2 that he wants. I would have drafted another chlorophyll Pokemon, something that could actually use the sun, because his only Pokemon that can really use the sun outside of Mega Charizard with his Fire Blast is Venusaur.
I didn't love the Suicune pick.
Yeah, it hinders Suicune a lot.
Yeah.
I think Shiftry would have been a lot better on his team instead of Cobalion.
Yeah,
I could see that.
or Victory Bell.
That would have been a late pick, and then he could have just moved everything up if he
like,
wanted to.
Just getting like a couple better picks in a couple different spots. Like Gardevoir, I'm not a big fan of, but I can see why it went round 5. That's fine. But like his later picks, Meowstic Male isn't the best in singles. I think it was the LVP of the league for the first like 6 weeks last season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so, like,
I think it was too.
He might
like
be
hits.
creative with
it. Only has that
just
fake
basing
out
on
sport.
like how he drafted and how that works in this league. Wasn't a big fan of it, so that's why I gave the score I did.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how he tries to use it, because I've only seen them use, I think, T-Wave and then set up screens.
I mean, it could be solid as a screen setter, but you gotta. That's a spot you're using on something just to set screens. That's gonna get probably destroyed.
Yeah, because I mean, Gardevoir can set up screens too.
Yep. What does he have to set up hazards?
True.
Just Cobalion?
Nidoking.
But my issue with Nidoking for that is, like, I want my Nidoking to either physically or specially hit. Like, that was a great pick, but I wouldn't use it as a hazard setter because you want it to hit hard and it's slow.
That's true, but it is slow. But you can run Sash. I've seen a lot of Sash, like Nidoking leads with rocks. Not that that's something I would do or like try to do, but that is an option. And then he's got Mana Buzz to clear out hazard, so at least he's covered on that end. And him on top of the spin. So yeah, but altogether I gave him a 5. Belkin gave him a 5. What was yours, Rudy? 5. Alright, so the next one we're going to cover is Josh of the Bolton Blastoises, and his first pick was Mega Blastoise, then Zapdos, Darmanitan, Umbreon, Crocodile, Hawlucha, Venomoth, Doublade, Slurpuff, and Rotom Cut. I like his team. I didn't really like Mega Blastoise pick in the first round. I thought that was a little bit too early for him, but given that it went in the first round in Magma also, so I mean, had he been in that division, it could have been gone by the time it got to him, so I suppose that I do understand that. He knew some of the other people that he was playing in the league with, the newcomers that he joined with, so maybe he knew that somebody else would really want that Mega Blastoise. And Mega Blastoise paired with Venomoth is really dangerous because you can set up that Quiver Dance and pass it on to him. And nobody wants to mess with Mega Blastoise. That's +1, special attack, special defense, and speed.
Yeah.
That's
I had
just
to deal
filthy.
with that with Riley last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strong.
It's a dangerous set. And he's got the Hawlucha for speed because you can use that on Burden. And then Doublade takes every physical hit unbelievably well and can dish back some pretty solid hits.
Special too. Like not obviously ideal, but he can take one if he needs to.
Yeah. I think knockoff does like 20%.
And then I really like the Rotom Cut pick at the end. Like, it's really underrated Pokemon in my opinion. You get Will-O-Wisp, you can Volt Switch out, you can set up screens, you can use Leaf Storm, you can do anything. So I personally really like his team. I gave him an 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid. I really like that Zapdos pick too, because Zapdos you can run him almost in any way that you want to in a league like this.
I had him for 8, and then I took a point off because of Slurpuff. But I really, really like how he drafted.
Reasonable.
I think he might have had the best rookie draft. I gave him a 7. But the Blastoise, Zapdos, Darmanitan, Umbreon first 4 picks are in my opinion, they're among the best in the whole division because
even Crocodile.
Yeah, because they cover each other really well. Zapdos is just always such a threat. Darmanitan every season shows why he's worth being a top second-round pick, and he got him late third. So that was a really strong one.
Yeah. Scarf Darmanitan is just, it's the most common set, but there's a reason for it, and it's because it's so good. It's
not versatile at all.
It is borderline unstoppable.
It's so strong. It doesn't matter because you can just, if you don't have any kind of check,
Sheer Force Flare
Blitzes. If you don't have a check for that, you're done. It'll take out 4 of your guys, no problem.
And even if you do, and then it's like, okay, I'm just going to U-turn out, see ya, and then on to the next one. And then, hypothetically, he could just go from a Scarf Darmanitan to a Scarf Zapdos and just ruin your team.
Scarf Crocodile as well.
And with,
that's true. And Hawlucha gets U-turn too.
The Venomoth pick was a great one, like you said, because I mean, even if the Tom passes a couple Quiver Dances to Zapdos, that thing's going to be a problem for you then. And even if it's a defensive set, it'll tear through you. So that thing, he has really good potential with that.
Yes.
If he Quiver Danced onto a Zinmo Darmanitan, I would build a statue in his name.
Well, he shows good creativity.
That would be
so
the most incredible. Yeah, I've seen Josh run some crazy stuff. So if he were to do that, I would build a statue and mail it to him.
I know it's supposed to, like, with how we were rating the teams, they're independent, but with him, I can see Blastoise being a first pick because it's his mascot. You look at his team name, you look at his Twitter name, Squirtacular. But he uses really good Blastoise and even War Turtle sets. He's used a bunch of good ones, so I think he's going to have some good creative sets up for that.
Yeah, I just think that his team covers itself really well. That's why, like, Dewblade is covered almost perfectly by Umbreon. Like, he could, like, just run that as his core, and that's why, like, I mean, I ignore the fact that it was Josh drafting the team. I know that he runs creative sets and he runs really good teams and he can make underused Pokemon work, but altogether, this is just a good team. Like, give this team to anybody and they're going to be able to put in good work with it. So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
Sorry, go ahead, Rudy.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you did.
The only poke I see that, like, really wrecks his team is Megalopunny. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I could see that.
That's the only thing, because base 135 speed is ridiculous. And 136 and with the Scrappy.
And I'm pretty sure he battles D-Train shortly. We'll cover D-Train's team in this game, but he's the one that drafted Megalopunny. So.
Yeah, and like with you mentioned how good his defensive synergy is, and then like he can run an offensive Zapdos, and that's a problem. And then Blastoise complements Umbreon and Doublade perfectly. Even if it's an offensive set, there's nothing that's going to hit all of those things really super effectively.
That's true. But I think that he's got a pretty solid team. It'll be interesting to see. Megalopunny, I know Boga doesn't like to pick, but I think Slurpuff could really just Drain Punch now.
The only thing I have Slurpuff is
true.
It's like a zoom.
But it does get the Unburden, so it doesn't really need priority. Yeah, that's true. Like, if you have enough priority on your team, you can take it out. Or give it to Talon Flame or Scizor, but outside of that, you don't have anything to fighting. I don't know, people usually thought it's pretty dangerous.
You can run some moves. It's like you give it, I think it gets Flamethrower, so like if you want to get Ditch and spell Flamethrower like a Scizor, you do that.
That's true.
Well, I think it also gets Fire Punch as well.
Oh, even better.
There you go.
I think so. Cool. Yeah.
I gave it an 8. Boga gave it a 7. What'd you give it, Rudy?
7.5.
7.5. Easy. So next thing we're going to cover is train London Dragonites, and his team is Dragonite, Landorus T, Hippowdon, Keldeo, Megalopunny, Gourgeist, Magnemite. Right away, just see this team's pretty powerful. He's got a decent amount of bolt. Megalopunny's got a fantastic move, so he's going to really be able to work around that. And I think he can chip all really well. 10, but
I thought his first 2 picks were solid. I really like the Dragonite pick. He's up in the MVP. It's one of the best things you can pick, but he's a lot of power. He doesn't have a ton of bulk. Like, yeah, you have Lando T, but he doesn't really have anything that takes. There's too many common weaknesses that stretch out. He's a massive ice weakness. He has a really big. There's a few grass weaknesses. Problems. Has a lot of grass weaknesses. He doesn't really do very well with. He has too many things that get, and like all the power in the world doesn't matter if you can't switch out at all because you're just going to get knocked out. And he has no offense. Before his offensive game, so he's gonna have some touch. So it give him versatility and make him play more, but it also gives him a problem where he has to try to figure out what to do next.
That's true. He could even run a bulky Megalodony, and not that I would particularly advise.
It's got great support sets. My lady friend may or may not be using never tell me just as a surprise factor. It's good. I think it's a good pick for this because it's so versatile that you can use it for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Cosmic Power, a lot of good things.
Cosmic Power Megalopony is deadly. But at least I like team. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the Powdon, same with the special defense with Mamo and Landorus T, but the, ice is gonna
like your Ludicolo would destroy him, or some kind of ice thing that gets a water move destroys him. So like it's tough. He doesn't have a lot of that vibe. He doesn't have a lot of bulk outside of. Like, he has bulky attackers, but he doesn't have like straight defense. He doesn't have special side.
Yeah, Gorgon the best. Special wall.
Yeah, I just couldn't get past that when I was looking at his teams. Like he's got a ton of power, and that's when he gets problems. Not really.
The Zoroark too, because I'm like most people just like ladder. There's that you but you can really mess with people's heads with the Zoroark.
Yeah.
So
there was I had a battle against Ryan last season or something where the whole time I couldn't use Psyshock with my Slowbro because I was so afraid of that. I think I had like a +2 Slowbro and I just couldn't Psyshock.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
It's pretty good. Like if you run a naive set, you can run Nasty Plot, 2 attacks, and then Sucker Punch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. It is it's a great Pokemon for a league like this because you do so much in planning and trying to figure out, and then you have a deceiving Pokemon like a Zoroark in front of you, and there's not too much you can really do. But altogether, so I gave him an 8. Pokken gave him a 6. What about you, Rudy?
I gave him 7.
Nice and easy, 7.
It's the best.
All right. So the last team we're gonna cover is the Muncie Muks or Munchie Muks, and he's not particularly a fan favorite amongst the other 2 commentators here.
I got shit for my defensive core. Like some of those things in the Skype chat. Like I might have shed a tear or two, and then he gets nothing for this. Nah, man.
Right. I mean,
he's gonna get some hate for this one, but let me go through his team. His team is Mega Venusaur, Heatran, Gyarados, Gliscor, Kieran Black, Audino, Swampert, Espeon, Torpedo, and Mismagius. So right away you can see that at least half of his team is bulky. It depends on what you define particularly as bulky, but I'm going to say at least half of his team is bulky.
Or what you consider half.
Right away you can see the Mega Venusaur and Heatran. That's pretty great core, but then once you pair that with the Gyarados, it is just downright evil.
Yep.
And then you throw in the Gliscor on top of that, and it's just a shit show at that point. It's not fun.
God.
Like, I don't think he has one Pokemon weak to ice on his team, except Gliscor.
Yeah, he covered those first 4 picks really, really strong defensively. The potential for stall is there, and it's pretty frightening.
I think that's all he's gonna do, honestly.
I mean, yeah, because if he brings Heatran, you can't bring the Kyurem. I didn't love that pick.
Yeah.
Because like Kyurem's great, but he probably might have been able to snag it a little bit later if he really wanted that second legend. But
that's true.
Using straight stall isn't the most viable strategy when people can see it coming. Like it's one thing when you're laddering on Showdown, and then you run into a team that's got like a Chansey, Blissey, and Heatran all on it. But when you can plan for it, you can stop it, and that really limits the viability of it. But he might.
It's true because you can start taunting.
Yeah, I think is he the one who's a doubles player primarily? Because there are a lot of doubles guys that he got, so like that makes it
like Audino.
Yeah, like that makes it a little bit more. It makes sense.
Yeah, not thrilled about Audino, to be honest.
Yeah, main weakness for his team, like he does have the Espeon, so you always have to fear that magic bounce, but you can just throw up hazards on him. Really, he's got Gliscor for the fog, but outside of that,
if it goes for the fog, it can't have Toxic Heal.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
I learned that last year the hard way.
yeah. So did I.
And I mean,
but altogether, I gave him a 6 out of 10.
I gave him a 4, and that wasn't just out of I hate the style he might potentially be going with this. I don't think he has good defensive synergy, but he's not. This draft was very lukewarm to me. I felt from round 6 on, I don't think he had a great draft. Sharpedo was the only one in there that I liked. Espeon is really not versatile. You can go bulky with screens, but it's not the best when you can plan for it. I don't see Aldino really doing much of anything. Swampert is really easy to plan for. Same with Miss Magius, also isn't great. So I didn't like the second half of his draft very much.
I disagree with the Miss Magius. I use Miss Magius a lot. It's a really good assault vest Pokemon.
That's fair.
See, I feel the same way about Swampert. I think if you throw an Assault Vest on Swampert, he just can destroy. But then you're getting rid of your ability to lay rocks, and I don't see anything else on his team that can sit down rocks other than Heatran.
But that's not always the best to run it on it.
Yeah, with Move Tutor too.
Yeah.
No.
I just feel like there's too many ways to play in here. Kieran B, he's probably not going to bring it over Heatran very often because it pairs so well with Gyarados and Venu. Same with Audino. I don't see Audino being that viable, but I mean, he might have sets that I'm not thinking of and use them really well, and if he does, then someone's going to play recording this back to me.
I actually think he's going to drop Kieran B within a few weeks, because I don't think he's going to use it within the first few weeks, because that first 4 picks, but that core is ridiculous. So I don't think he's going to pick Kieran B over Heatran anytime soon.
Another thing that really helps him if he is going to run stall is that Gliscor uses Toxic Orb instead of Leftovers.
Yeah.
So he gets to use that. So then he could run Leftovers on Gyarados, Leftovers on Heatran. Toxic Orb on Gliscor. Nope.
Well, I meant the orb. I thought it did. That's interesting. That's really good.
No. Because you could run Toxic Orb on a Ursaring.
True. Yeah.
And you're just losing. Or a Swallow, like Matt.
Hey, you guys remember when we said we wanted to spend
altogether
2 minutes on each team and then kind of fly through it?
Yeah, kind of an hour.
We're at 60 minutes.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
Good stuff to talk about.
But so I gave him a 6. Bo gave him a 4. What'd you give him, Rudy?
I have to go with a 4. I'm not thrilled.
All right.
5-ish then.
So I'll have the rankings for all the teams posted on Twitter after this. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry that it was so long, but it's pretty in depth talking about every team, breaking down Pokemon by Pokemon. So thanks for tuning in again, and you guys can say bye.
See you guys.
All right. Catch you guys next time.